We are live on game day, but Stevie, only one of the two of us here have played in Houston, so I want to know, what's it like playing out there?
Man, I actually love playing out in Houston. It's not even because of the atmosphere on the field and game days. It's the surroundings. It's the food. You know what I mean? It's the people. I enjoyed that part about Houston. You've never been to any place in Houston?
I've never been to Houston. I want to. It sounds awesome, but look, Stevie, if these guys win tonight, I think they deserve a night to go eat whatever they want because the food sounds amazing out there.
If that's a big if. That's a big if because our guy JA hasn't lost on Thursday night before. So, you know what I mean? That's a huge if, my guy.
We're gonna break down this Texans Bills game, Thursday night football, all of that. But first, Sammy, hit it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Bills Banter with Stevie Johnson and Michael F. Florio.
Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! Why so serious?
The sickest Buffalo Bills podcast.
Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone.
It's gonna be sick.
Guru, we live.
We are live, and the viewers are piling in right now. Stevie, I did want to ask you, though. Do you know when the last time the Buffalo Bills won in Houston?
Man, you know what? I mean, I remember us talking about this in our group chat, and I can't really remember a time we won. Thinking back to the playoff game, is it beyond that?
It not only is it beyond that, it predates your NFL debut.
Before 2008, huh? So what was it, 2005?
Almost 19 years to the day. November 19th, 2006. JP Lossman went for 340-3, and your guy Lee Evans 265-2.
Hey, okay, Lee, 265. Yeah, I was 06. I was transferring from Chabot Junior College and going to Kentucky. So, yeah, that's pretty sick. That's wild. It's been that long, huh?
Yeah, almost literally yesterday was 19 years. They beat David Carr. It was still the first ever quarterback in Texans franchise history, which is I checked it. You were in Kentucky that year. You were balling out, doing your thing, but little did you know, 20 years later, basically, you'd be doing a pod being like, man, they still haven't won in Houston.
Yeah, that's wild. But tonight is going to be the night. I feel like there's no way that Josh lets what happened to his Buffalo Bills in Miami happen tonight against the Houston Texans, considering they're down their star quarterback in C.J. Stroud, which we can talk about a little bit. I think the writing's on the wall there. So Davis Mills, you got a good shot at taking over the reins. But I don't think it's going to start tonight against the Bills. Our defense is they've been under scrutiny, considering, giving up 3 touchdowns to, a guy who nobody knew before he scored 3 touchdowns on him. And it's like, you think they're going to come out like that again? Not to mention Shaq Thomas coming back. So I think the defense is prepared and their rotations are up to par now, Guru. I feel like the defense is more fresh instead of dogging out 2 players the entire game, brother.
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect time to just get to our favorite segment of the week, because that's kind of what it's all about this week.
Hey, Sammy, hit it.
Why so serious?
Why so serious? So our segment for this week is going to be about the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. All right. The Buffalo Bills haven't won there since Mike said, 20 years ago? I didn't even know that. I was only going to say 3. They're 0-3. But, sheesh, 20 years? It's time for the Buffalo Bills to get serious this game. And how? I'm going to say the offensive line. I don't think people was ready for this one, because you got to think about it. That defense that the Houston Texans has been putting on the field has been killing us, basically. It's been stopping our momentum. Danielle Hunter has done this for seasons. This is not the only time that he's been a problem for the Bills. And then you add Will Anderson, his get off on the ball is pretty spectacular. If you guys just tune in and watch how he play, it's going to be big on our edges. Spencer Brown, Deion Dawkins, those guys, it's going to be a big game in the trenches. And that's where I'm looking to see the Bills get serious, is taking this pass defense and this Russian defense serious.
Yeah, and this is as we were kind of saying, a something got to give game, right? Josh Allen has never lost on Thursday Night Football, but he's 0-3 in Houston. And the Texans right now have allowed the lowest pass rating in the NFL. Josh is 2-3 all time with 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions when facing the team allowing the lowest passer rating. But Stevie, I think it gets even worse when you look at what happened last year when these teams matched up. Career low 30% completion rate. He completed 1 pass under pressure, 1 pass against man coverage. I think there's an argument that was the worst game he has played since he broke out in 2020. But as you athletes say a lot, right? Like, this is a chance to fix those demons, to make it all, like, no one cares about the past if Josh goes out and the Bills go out and they play their game and they leave with a W today.
Yeah, Guru. And you think about this. When has the last time we seen Josh lay an egg back-to-back? Not saying that the last week game counts on this, but I'm saying consecutive against the Houston Texans. Last season, he laid a goose egg, basically. I don't think Josh is going to come back and do the same thing. He's that kind of guy who we've seen from Miami week going into the Buccaneers week. He doesn't lay eggs back-to-back. So that's why I feel like Josh is going to – he may take this one personal. Even though it doesn't matter as much, I feel like what matters is the playoffs with the Buffalo Bills. Right now, we can talk and say whatever we want. I think this is one of those games where Josh wouldn't go in there humble and, trying to be perfect. I think he's going to go out there and try to grab a W, Guru, and do what he can at all costs to get this dub.
And look, you talk about the playoffs and the division and stuff. I know right now we're all focused on TNF, but it's starting to look like Joe Burrow could be back this week against the Patriots, so that game becomes a lot harder for them. Like, I know right now things are in the Patriots' control, but this division is not on ice yet. It's not on wraps. Like, the Bills are still very much so alive, but to win it, you can't keep – you've kind of left yourself no room for error. Maybe you could lose one more game, but – you get the Patriots still upcoming. If you lose that one, it's over. But you get the Eagles upcoming. Like, it's not a must-win by any stretch for the Bills. But the season feels a lot different if you leave Houston with a win than a loss tonight. Because if they leave with a loss, they're just one game up on Houston, on the Jags, like teams like that. So, like, to keep that division up for grabs and to keep yourself firmly entrenched in the playoffs, like, yeah, you need a win tonight.
Yeah, and you're saying, like, no room for error, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's Will Anderson and those boys.
Yeah, how do we stop them though? Do we stop them in a rush game? Do we apply pressure? I want to see personally Max Harrison line up against Nico Collins. Maybe they put Christian Benford there, but I feel like Max Harrison has been earning his name, improving himself, and that's going to take away pretty much the Texans' only threat of energy. I don't see their running game. How do I say that? When I didn't see the Buccaneers running game doing that with Bucky Irvin on the sideline. But again, the Bills aren't going to give that up back to back. I feel like, especially on a short week and in a dominant week, you don't have to do too much game planning. You just get back into it and you react off instincts. And Josh Allen is the best at reacting off instincts, as you see in the scramble modes. He's unstoppable at the end of the day.
And Stevie, I think the biggest talking point coming into the game is the receiver room. And who better to talk to about it than you? We've already seen that Gabe Davis is activated for tonight. Mecole Hardman is not. So Shakir, Palmer, Davis, Shavers, those 4 seem pretty safe. We could see Elijah Moore. Is Keon Coleman going to be out there? Last week, none of the Bills receivers played more than 53% of the snaps. None had more than 5 targets. Like, do you think this is the recipe for success? Just kind of rotating everyone in, giving everyone opportunities? Or do you want to see Keon active tonight? What do you think the best way for the Bills to go with the receiver room is?
I'm gonna just jump on to, is this the recipe for success? And yes, that is it. Rotating guys in, especially when you have a receiver room like we have. We have versatility and we have weapons everywhere. You can throw in Keon in the same sentence, where you don't have to utilize him or put the pressure on him every week to play. Considering his off-field antics, you can sit him down and you can still utilize other guys, like you said, Elijah Moore, to do the same things and get to the same spots. So you have to rotate these guys in, as opposed to trying to isolate one or trying to isolate and find one when that's not your offensive game plan. That's not your style, So yeah, considering this is one of those teams where, like you said, nobody's going to get over 7 catches or 7 targets. So that means you got to rotate guys in so that they can each provide a spark, as opposed to 1 or 2 guys providing that same spark for 4 quarters. Teams are smart enough to catch on to that, and that relies on Josh to put the cape on too much. We use that loosely with Josh putting on the cape, because that's the only way we can somewhat explain the things that he do. But at the end of the day, we don't really want to see him have to be in predicaments where he's looking stressed out against the Houston Texans midway through the season. We'd rather wait for that later on in the playoffs, when we know like the pressure is high. You're playing against the best of the best. We don't want to go back to talking about our Bills because they lost to teams like the Miami Dolphins. No disrespect, but it shows with the records. You gotta dominate those teams.
And one thing look, I know I've come on here a lot. I've been like, I don't like how this receiver's being used, but
you keep it real though.
I understand why they're using Khalil Shakir on screens and like he's a yak monster. I get all of that. But he has, in the NFL, the lowest air yards per target amongst all wide receivers with at least 25.
That's all good. That's all good. It's all good.
I'm cool with them giving him but
that's what he do. Yeah.
He could win downfield as well. Like what? And no one expects it anymore. So like maybe we get his route tree a little more diversified this week.
You know what? And that was my guy that was going to get me over the hump in our fantasy league. Khalil Shakir is going to wake up, because just like Josh don't have back-to-back goose eggs, Khalil Shakir is not going to go negative yards back-to-back. He just, congratulations to him, brought in new life. And, he's playing for something a little bit more, and it's not as serious, so he's going to be loose. And especially, riding off of a W short week, he's going to get me over the hump so I can get back on the winning track in our fantasy league.
You know who you're playing this week, right?
Yeah. Come on now, let's get it.
The week all our listeners have been waiting for. We're not just podcast co-hosts this week. We are fantasy rivals. We're both right now, projections have us a point apart. And they had me and Drew 0.3, and I know Drew's backstage right now. He's going to be joining us shortly. Drew,
buckets.
I'm sorry, baby. It didn't work out the way you drew it up. But Stevie, me and you are fighting for the playoff spot right now. I wish you luck this week, but not really.
What a season, yo. We started off hot. I know I started off hot. I ain't got a win since 6 weeks ago. So
the last time you won was we were together in Orange County, which feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, man. But that was such a good time. No, I'm being on the water. We gotta tap back in with Cruiser so we can do some more out there in Oceanside. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to Oceanside tonight in Orange County.
I was speaking of which, if you're in the Oceanside area and you're watching this, and you're like, hey, I want to watch the Bills game, you can watch it tonight with Stevie. Stevie, where is the event in Oceanside?
Yeah, Rookies. We're going to be at Rookies Sports Bar. Yep, on El Camino Boulevard in Oceanside, California. From games from 5 to 7. So, right after we shut down our pregame show, I'm heading up the highway and going to kick it with the Mafia out here in Oceanside.
So, if you're in that area, there's no excuse. Like, this is a once in a maybe not once in a lifetime, because Stevie's always popping up places. But how often do you get to watch Thursday night football, Bills with Stevie Johnson? Like, you need to get out there. Stevie, while we're talking about receivers, I know we all don't fully know what's going on here. Inactives are going to be coming out shortly, but like, what's your take on everything going on with Keon?
Young guy going through his fire right now. you know, and it's going to ultimately make you or break you. And from what I've seen from him, I mean, he's been answering everything right. He's been acting accordingly. You know, he hasn't looked like a sad puppy. So it makes me think that he's going to grow from this. You know, he's going to still be the guy who, you know, who he was in college. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be that type of guy, even more evolved in the NFL, you know, considering what he's going through right now. You know, I say that because there's going to be assistants around, you know, like players on his team. You know, being in that locker room is beneficial because it's not only coming from guys in the receiver room. It's easy to talk to guys that you be with every day, you know, but then you got guys on the offensive line who don't even play your position and they come in to reach out and talk to you. That just shows that they care on another level, you know. And I think that's a wake-up call, you know. It's a wake-up call.
I have no issues with him. Like, I know people were saying him dancing on the sideline last week before the game, like, rubbed them the wrong way. The only thing I saw, Stevie, that I was like, that wasn't the best answer, was he got asked if last week was a learning opportunity, and he said no. And I'm like, that's a layup. Just say yes, you know? Like, it's the easiest question you're going to get asked all week.
I know, and that's the thing, man. It's like, out of 99 questions, he'll answer one wrong, and then somehow it'll find the media, it'll find a way. Like I didn't hear that one, and I do the post game show with Spectrum and Buffalo End Zone. Shout out my guys, Kevin, Andy, and I just continue to hear the media asking him over and over. Oh, did you learn anything? Yeah. Oh, how are you going to get better? How is that going to happen? It's like they're asking the right questions, but they was asking it over and over and over, and they was poking at it, and he answered it right every time. And me and the guys was in the back. We was laughing because we knew what was going on. And he passed that test. So it literally surprised me to hear that he had one where he probably just broke. Like, no, I didn't learn nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know what, though, as someone who likes to, like, instigate and stir the pot and stuff, I could see myself doing that, like, getting sick of the questions and just being like, no, is that what you want me to say? Like, are you happy now? Like,
you know, and the thing is, that's why I'm saying he's going through his fire, because it can be negative, obviously, not sitting and you a top pick. So yeah, you for sure got to take that serious. In the back of your mind, you got to think like, I really can't allow this to happen again. But within this fire, he's still, like I said, not pouting. He's answering questions right, and he's still, you know, giving that little banter with guys when he know what him and his coach has been talking about. We don't know, you know. Coach can be saying some things where he's assuring them, hey, you're our guy. We know you're going through this, and we go stick with you. So don't worry about nothing. Just be you. And, you know, we don't know what the conversation is. And I'm assuming that's what it is from what he was showing on the sideline. You know, it looked comfortable to me.
And those who live in the Buffalo, Rochester area, you can catch your boy tonight on the Spectrum post-game show. But, Stevie, while we're talking Keon and everything, let's bring our friends in, right? We got Mookie joining us, who has an insider perspective there. We got Drew Buckets joining us, who has, like, the fan base and what people are saying on Twitter and stuff. So Mookie and Drew, if you guys are available to come join this conversation right now, we're talking Keon Coleman, and I guess Mookie, we could go to you first. Is Keon going to be out there tonight? Do you know?
The suspense is killing everybody.
That laugh told it all. That laugh told it all.
Yeah.
The suspense is killing everybody. I mean, it may be looking like in a situation where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, such a short work week. You know, let's see what we got going. Let's get Josh Palmer going. Let's take some of the burden off of Keon maybe, and get some things going. You know, on a short work week. You know, let's not deal with, you know, the distraction. It is what it is at this point. So, you know, it's not a big deal if he sits out. You know what I mean? He still has 2 more years under his rookie contract to develop and, you know, and be the person that they want him to be. But at the end of the day, I just think that, you know, I think they put too much on his plate, to be honest. But as far as accountability portion, if you're not showing up to work, that's your problem. You know what I mean? That's a me thing. That's something he has to fix from within. So Other than that, he's a talent that, the Bills have yet to unlock his talent, but, maybe he's in Brady's doghouse and, he can't breathe properly. He can't exhale or, it's an issue. You know what I mean? So worst case scenario, man, you got to bring your butt to work, so if it's on him, that's on him. He's going to sit out tonight and, hopefully Josh can get cooking like he did last week.
And look, there's only one pro athlete on this show right now, but all four of us can relate. Like, if you aren't at work on time, you're going to get in trouble. Like, regular person, regular job, athlete, it does not matter. But Drew, fans aren't always as calm. So what's the fan base saying right now?
Fan base is wanting to know the answer. It's the Schrodinger's cat. It's a Schrodinger's Keon at this point. Is he gonna play? Is he out on the sideline? So we don't know. Inactives come out in a half an hour, I think. So we'll officially know hopefully by the end of the pod, but I'm not sure. But the fans are growing restless with Keon and number 0 out there. I think they want a superstar wide receiver. They want that big name. They want that baller. They want that route runner, the name and lights, Showtime. They want a Nico Collins who are going up against tonight. They want a Keenan Allen. They know we could have had Ladd McConkey right after. They're bringing up all the receipts, and the spotlight shines brightest on those who perform well, and who doesn't perform well or doesn't show up to work. So get an alarm clock, set Alexa, do whatever you got to do. Get there, get to those meetings on time and ball out, man. Like, show this fan base that, you are worth that pick,
Yeah, I can dig that. Hey, shout out to you, Don Mook. I see you out there in the code, still getting it in with the community. And like Don Mook was saying, I want to ask you, Buckets, thanks for your analysis from the community, but how do you feel when Mook says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Are you with that, or are you saying, hey, let's put Keon in and let's continue to try to grow this star?
It took me a long time to understand the everybody eats mantra. But lately, with the carousel going around, the injury bugs going around, players being out for personal reasons, players being out for, punishment reasons, like you talked about in the open, no one last week had more than 5 targets, 5 receptions. But it doesn't matter if the results are the results. If the coaching staff, if the players are comfortable with who's in that locker room, who's in those meeting rooms, it's a short week. It's, all hands on deck right now. We got too many guys out in that. It used to be the defensive side of the ball, right? Earlier this year, we were talking 8, 9 players out at a time. Well, now we got 4 or 5 on our wide receiver room and tight end room that we need people to catch the ball. Superman's got to throw that rock to someone.
Facts. Hey, Don Mook, I want to ask you, because a lot of hype is going on about the Houston Texans versus Josh Allen. Everything versus Josh Allen, but the pressure has been on Josh because of the defensive linemen of the Houston Texans. So do you think it's more of a game between our offensive line or Josh Allen just figuring out their defense, that pressure and zone defense? I have to go back and watch film. They actually don't play a lot of man nowadays. They play zone, but they send pressure with it. So that's going to make Josh have to read. But does that put the game on Josh's hands or on the offensive line's hand to hold up for Josh?
I think it puts the pressure on the offensive line hands. When you look at this Bills O-line, they're number 1 in protection rate. So, that's not by accident. So they got to maintain that, especially against the number 1 defense in the NFL, right? So it's kind of crazy because here's the scenarios. You got the Bills who can't stop the run. You have the Houston Texans, who's not really a strong-oriented team. But, you have that defense. And if the Bills' offense don't produce any points, then, again, this could be another situation a la Miami, a la Atlanta, going into a hostile environment on a Thursday night, and you just want to downplay things and not understand that this is the number one defense. So something's going to give tonight. Either it's going to be the number one defense or the number two offense. Josh definitely is going to have to be able to raise everybody's level of play. But I think that now it's kind of crazy is no Kincaid. So you got to make a point of emphasis on scheming the wide receivers. So we'll see tonight, will Joe Brady be able to, scheme up some things with the receivers with Kincaid not being out there? And if so, how do you balance that when Kincaid do get back?
But because I agree with everything you guys are saying, and we have focused a lot on the offensive side of things, right? But the Bills' defense has been struggling this year, I would say, especially against the run. Woody Marks has kind of taken over this backfield, but last week, the Tennessee Titans were able to shut him down. But Davis Mills is playing for the Texans. Davis Mills is just locked in on his best players. He's force-feeding them, and he's kind of just being like, you know what? Nico's somewhere. Dalton Schultz is somewhere. I'm just going to lock in on my top guys and trust them to make plays. So, Stevie, I know you were saying you want to see like Harrison on Nico, but what can this Bills defense do to improve against the run and to kind of make life hard on Davis Mills tonight?
They got to play like animals. They can't hold up blocks and think that's just going to get the job done. You got to hold up blocks pushing. You got to be a little more gritty. And that's what we didn't see against the Miami Dolphins. And that's what had Achane being able to wiggle against our safeties in the phone booth because our lineman wasn't pressuring down. So I think it's going to start with the defensive line causing chaos and then sending those pressures that Babish has been sending sneakily. And that's going to test Davis Mills and see if he's prepared to handle a Super Bowl caliber defense, because we all see the Buffalo Bills as a Super Bowl team. So if you're supposed to be in a Super Bowl, that means your defense gonna be there with you, your special teams, all that. We need the energy because, like you said, Guru, when you get a guy like Davis Mills who doesn't have too many restrictions and you can just air it out and let it rip, and then you have a guy like Nico Collins who at one point was leading the NFL in yards and touchdowns, add a sparked up defense. I mean, that could be a recipe for disaster at home on Thursday night, no cares in the world. That it can be a recipe for disaster, so it's going to start with the guys getting dirty in the trenches to quiet everybody down, brother.
And Mookie, do you think they're able to do that? It. Oh, we got routes running right now?
Yeah, that's the young bulls out there in Buffalo getting it in. And look, you got to understand, we've been in California. Look, they out there, it's probably 2 degrees. You know what I mean? Toes freezing. But look at them out there getting it. I love it. That's why
California's made me soft. It's raining and like 50 degrees today or 60 degrees, and I'm like, this weather is terrible. Like I'm soft out here, man.
Man, bro. Hey, what can we do though? This sun thaws out every day. Every day.
Who you got with you, Mookie?
Young Legends. Say what's up, man. Tell us your name. Tell us your number. What position y'all play? They go. Oh yeah, he on mute.
Yeah.
Jackson is a left tackle on defensive end.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Johnny plays all positions.
It's 13. Mookie, how cold is it by you?
6'1", 210.
The future is bright. Yeah. Stay on the mentally. You already know.
That's big. But yeah, man. I mean, that's just to sum things up. I mean, if the Bills allow Woody Marks to go off and all of a sudden they don't make Davis Mills look like a backup quarterback, Bills can lose tonight. They could lose tonight. So I want to know what Bills team are we going to get. Are we going to get the Bills team with urgency, aggression, with some aggression, some nastiness, or are we going to get, all right, things are back to normal. We won last week.
Yeah, we don't want that.
The Bills, we're a Super Bowl contender.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to see. It's going to be a good one.
That is the fear. Drew, we've asked you a lot about like the receiver room and stuff, but what is your thoughts on the state of the Bills going into tonight's game?
I think there's a couple different matchups that we need to take into consideration tonight. We talked a lot about, and we will talk about the Texans defense. However, I think they are, if I'm not mistaken, either last or second to last in quarterback rushing yards. They're allowing over 7 yards a carry to quarterbacks this season. Not running backs. They're keying in on running backs. However, 7 yards a carry to quarterbacks. That is a huge vulnerability that if Josh doesn't see his reads going well and he has a hole, I want him to punch it and take advantage and go. 7 yards, even 6 yards on a first or second down is going to be crucial to getting those first downs, controlling the ball, time of possession, everything. I think another key matchup is going to be Deion Dawkins versus Will Anderson. If Will Anderson can get around Deion or beat him, I think that is a matchup nightmare that's going to cause Josh to scramble in places we don't want him to go. I don't think against this defense he can do the 13-second run around in the back, find someone hoping to get open. I don't think that's the type of game that we're going to have. I think he needs to be methodical. I think he needs to get first or second read only due to the timing, take what's open, see if there's a lane, or throw it out of bounds. He needs to be really good with the ball. I think our edge rushers tonight, I think Groot needs to put so much pressure on Davis Mills, make him uncomfortable. One of the things when I watched back some of the tape against Davis Mills, they didn't have too much pressure on him, and he had time, and he had a lot of clean pockets. And when he did scramble, that Brontosaurus was just going. Like, that dude just the longest neck in the league. Like, my God. Like, he's going off on a jaunt. But I really think that if we can expose those vulnerabilities, I think Josh will have a good game. One of the other things that I think is vital that we've been doing more of, and kind of Mookie talked about it, and Stevie, you talked about it, is the pressure and the urgency. We need to play with urgency. But one of the things that I think we need to do is get James cooking early. I don't care if he goes 70 yards on a run right off the bat, 5-6 yards, get that, and then use on first or second down the play action. Play action on first down will get our receivers open. That's how we utilized them last week. And using James Cook out of the backfield, letting him get those hands. He had 45 yards in receptions last week on three. Like, get him going. Ty Johnson, same thing. He had that 44-yarder. Extension of the run game with Shakir is fine, but I want to utilize our running backs in the pass game to extend all options downfield. And use of play action is going to be crucial tonight to get separation and allow Josh to have that little bit of timing, and because they have to hold it knowing that he could take off. So I think once he gets that, then those running lanes will start opening up, and then we can just carve them up.
Yeah.
I like all those options tonight.
That was a good breakdown.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I the stat with the rushing for the quarterback, is not designed, but it's the quarterback understanding that pressure is coming out from the outside. Take off and take it. Don't get scrambled out to a scrambling situation. So that's a pretty interesting point there. And the fact that you brought up getting those first options and getting the running back involved is huge, because that gets you into third and manageable. We rather see a Josh in third and manageable versus a Josh in third and 16, a third and 11, So, great breakdown on that one. Guru, you had something you was going to say?
Yeah, so we the phone lines are open, right? I should have given the number out already, but 888-585-7425 if you have thoughts on Bills Texans tonight, you want to say what's up to Stevie, whatever it might be. Mookie's at practice right now. We can only have 4 on at once, so we're gonna slide Mookie out for just 1 second, and we're gonna bring in Lewis here from the phone lines. Lewis, what's up? What's your question?
What up, Lou?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, brother. Good to hear from you. What you got, Lou?
I have actually 2 questions, really quick, guys. I have J-Mo on my lineup, and I dropped Lad McConkey for him. Should I pick up Lad again, or should I keep J-Mo in my lineup?
Good one. Hey, Guru, before you jump in there, I'm going to say from a player standpoint, I'm going to go grab Lad again after getting that whooping that they took out in Jacksonville. I believe he's going to bounce back, and he's going to establish himself as a top-tier player after losing like they did. So that's a personal opinion.
Right on.
But, Guru, you might know something more in fantasy, brother.
Well, Lad's on bye this week, so you can't play him, but I want him on my roster. Like, is there anyone else you could drop? Because Jameson Williams has a fantastic matchup, and I think you should start him this week. But like Stevie said, I think Lad bounces back, and I don't want to drop him.
All right. And last question, guys. This is a dilemma because I have ETN on my team, and Tootin is available on waivers. I was thinking about dropping ETN for Tootin. What do you guys think about it?
Me, I'm going to say keep ETN. Another personal reason, I literally just talked to his little cousin today. He's 13 years old out in Oceanside. And it's pretty interesting that you bring up ETN. So I'm going to say on the personal side, keep my boy Trav.
Yeah, look, I'm keeping him. I know I'm giving kind of the same answer. Like, I would want Tootin on my roster in case anything happens to ETN, or in case we see him start to take over, something like that. But right now, I'm not dropping Travis Etienne. So if you have to decide between the two, me and Stevie agree. You're keeping Etienne. Appreciate you calling, Lewis. If anyone else wants to call, 888-585-7425 is the number. But we're going to slide Mookie back in here. We have some questions from the comments, too, I was told. I think they're going to be coming up here. Okay, so do you think Josh was let loose last week to roll out and see more of the field as opposed to staying in the pocket? I want your answer, Stevie, but since we just brought Mookie back, Mookie, what do you think of this? Was Josh allowed to roll out more, or was that just a game thing, or were they telling him previously to stay in the pocket?
As far as what? Just period? Or when that one play you talked about, the 43-yard?
I think both, right? Just kind of in general last week.
I don't know. I think it's to me, just looking at it overall for the past, 10 weeks, it's like, I don't think they do play action. I cannot lie about that. They do play action, but I think Josh has been kind of hesitant to run, in normal years where he didn't think twice about running the football, right? So I don't know if that's saying like, hey, protect yourself, don't run too much early. You don't want to take those hits early on in the season. And, I think that's kind of been hindering Josh to some degree. But again, I would like to see a display of some sort of creativity with the arm talent. Josh Allen got to do a scramble drill just to show you how big of an arm he has. And again, he was on the right hash and threw a laser 45 yards to Shavers in full stride over the safety and the corner. So it should be some plays that accentuate that type of arm talent. If my quarterback can roll to the right and throw left accurately, I'm going to showcase the arm talent in the play where it's explosive. And that's what's missing. The Bills' scramble play is the most explosive play in Joe Brady's offense.
Hey, great point. And to go to, what Buckets was saying and to what Don Mook was saying weeks ago, how do you do that? The first and second down. You either do that play action and then you let it fly, or you give it to Cook, let them suck up, and then do the play action early in downs as opposed to when everybody's suspected. So you guys been calling that out for a while. And to answer Todd Feldman's question, a great question, and what he's trying to view on the game, I don't believe they're telling Josh to scramble or telling him to sit in the pocket. I feel like it's a situation where sometimes Josh just don't take the first read that he probably should to get that first down. And then, like Mook was saying, he's not taking off to leave just yet. He's kind of still going through another progression. And then he's making time for himself. because he's a great athlete. So it's kind of a mix, he's trying to stay in and evolve. And you see a guy, I mean, you got to think he's still evolving into a pocket passer. So he's learning when to take off in situations, learning when to take his first option. And the good thing about the Buffalo Bills is if it's a problem with 17, it's okay. We don't need to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to make up for it. And we understand the game that he plays at. So, yeah, Guru, that was a good question.
This is pure. I'm not in the locker room, or this is pure speculation on my end. But I wouldn't be surprised if the thinking was like, maybe don't run as much early on. Like, we've seen teams that are Super Bowl contenders. The Chiefs are always the one that comes to mind. They slow play a lot of their players early in the season. It's just about like kind of getting the basics down. Like, you don't see their best punch in week 2 or 3. You don't start to see it until around this time of year, like November, December into the playoffs. So maybe it was a little bit of that. Like, but I do agree with what Mookie said. I don't think Josh looked fully comfortable running in previous weeks. Last week was the most like Josh Allen that he has looked, in my opinion. And I still feel like there was a lot of meat left on the bone. Like, he could have had an even bigger day. But, I mean, it's crazy to say that when he went for 6 touchdowns and is the only player since the 50s to do that, and he's done it twice. Like, it just shows how great he is. But I do believe we have another question in the comments, which shout out to Bills Mafia for being active today. We'll start with you, Drew. Favorite player that you think scores a touchdown today? We'll go around the horn.
I think Big Game Gabe is going to have a touchdown tonight. I think Josh wanted to get him one last week. I really think, he wanted to bring his guy back up, and I think he gets it tonight.
Nice.
All right. For me, Captain Zach, I'm going to say James Cook. I feel like he's been enjoying the spotlight, and ever since he had that big media blow up and then he went to Miami, he got the fumble. He hasn't scored. I believe James Cook is going to get in the end zone 2 times, passing and rushing.
Ooh, and he's not just saying that because he's on his fantasy team.
I need it.
My bold prediction on one of my shows this week was 4 different Bills receivers catch a touchdown this week.
Oh, I like that.
No quarterback has thrown more than 2 against Houston, but we also have another caller. Again, if you want to call us, 1-888-5856. That's 7425. But Todd is calling us right now. Todd, what you got for us?
Gentlemen, you already answered my one question, but I just have another one for you real quick. It's about the RPO. It looks like it's kind of like gotten real predictable this season, where they're throwing to Shakir off the line. And I mean, it just looks like it's taken forever when it happens, to the point where like it's not tricking anybody. Just wonder what you guys think about that. I'm going to hang up. I'll listen to you guys online. Go Bills.
Go Bills, brother.
Go Bills.
Yeah. Great question, and that's good for me to dive into because it's not going to work every time. The fact that the screen pass and Khalil has made it look so great is not going to work every time. However, it's something that it makes the defense lock in on that. It makes them, when you see Khalil take one step and jump back, those DBs react a certain way. They come a little bit closer, which means our other guys can play off of that. So it's more of a strategy, I would say, right now, with how they're utilizing Khalil. And I believe they're resting him, because you can see Khalil doing intermediate routes. He can do deep down the field routes. However, we're resting this guy and we're utilizing all our other guys to play off of him. So it's kind of like a pick and roll, the way I see the playbook being set up. So shout out to Brady for really forcing that. And more times than not, it will pop off. I'm assuming tonight will be that night it does pop off. It was one of those rare nights where Khalil Shakir had -3 yards. Interesting.
Yep.
But then, we still got guys behind the coverage like Gabe Davis on those deep ends, Shavers on the backside from a scramble underneath short route. It all happened from the short routes, and evolving. So good question.
We have a couple more. Bills Mafia wants.
Okay, yeah.
They want to talk to Drew Buckets. They want to talk to Stevie J. So this one from Gino Alport says 10 will have a big day today on the backup nickel D. That's a good call.
Yeah.
And Drew, I said earlier that I don't love the way Shakir is used. I want to get your opinion on that as well. But real quick, Stevie, he had a baby this week. Is that something that coaches know and they're like, we're going to try to get you in the end zone tonight?
Yeah, especially coaches these days. It's more open. They're more public with it. They like when I say public, they're more like friends with the players now. You see Coach McDermott in the tailgates with the Bills Mafia. So that's why I feel like this locker room is different, and Khalil will eat. I didn't know. Shout out to G Alpo, fan of the year 2021, joins my guy Dale Reed. Our guy Dale Reed joins him, and what he called out, he's going against a backup nickel. It should be easy money, but then again, we got to see if our offensive line hold up so that we can get the ball to Khalil.
And Drew, I know you're breaking down the all 22 each week and stuff. What are your thoughts on Shakir and the way he's been used so far?
Well, kind of like we've said a couple different times, on the pod, they've been using him as an extension of the run game, essentially, when Cook isn't available, or Ray Davis or Ty Johnson isn't necessarily the go-to guy right there. They want to utilize his yards after catch and his elusiveness to get, upfield. The last couple of games, he's been stymied quite a bit. But I don't think that's through any fault of his own. I think it's just been the defensive matchups, keying in on certain players. They know that, defensive know that, so they're going to try to take that away, obviously, competitive advantage and whatever. But I think tonight, as you guys are saying, I don't even think it's the coaches who want to get him a touchdown. JA-17 is going to want to give that baby a game ball. That's what Josh does, right? And he's all about the kids. They all are, So I think they'll utilize him in different packages and get him a touchdown tonight. I'm going back and thinking about your prediction of the 4
same
wide receivers. Did you mean wide receivers? Did you mean pass catchers?
I said receivers, but if it's 3 receivers and a tight end, I'm taking that as a win either way.
Or running back like James Cook.
Yeah, right.
Or if 4 people catch a touchdown pass, I'm celebrating. I'm just letting that be known.
Now that we at this 4, talk to me, Guru. You sent the message about Josh being 4 away from what? What is this?
So, one, he would be the only, no quarterback has thrown more than 2 touchdowns against Houston this year, but if he gets 4 touchdowns, he becomes the second player ever to have 10 touchdowns in a 5-day span. The other is Peyton Manning when he went on to repeat as MVP, which we have a couple more comments. We are going to take them, but I've been wanting to ask you this all day, Stevie. I'm just going to ask it now. Because look, you guys know we're all in the text chain together and stuff. 2 weeks ago, I was like, that's it. The MVP's over. The division's over. Then Josh, not only did they go out and win last week, he had an all-time historic performance in a game where I think we all agree he could have had even better numbers. Stevie, what is seeing? Because look, I know that it's a 53-man roster. It's 11 on 11. Like it's not a one-person sport. But 17 is the captain. He is the leader. They go as he goes. What does it do for a locker room when your quarterback, your best player, your reigning MVP, has a all-time historic performance? Because as a fan, it got me back immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's ultimate confidence. That's all it is. It's ultimate confidence. It can make some people feel like they don't want to do as much work because you got that guy back there. Then it pushes others, which is a credit to the coaching staff and the management for keeping these guys focused and locked in. Not hanging their heads to the defense, because a defense can feel like they let a guy like that down, and you've never seen any energy from the defense to feel like they're a letdown. They always just came back and got back at it. What you guys say, like Josh and all the guys, they love the kids. They've never shown any emotion towards, a defense when they had a historic day, but the defense couldn't stop anybody, So this is a special group. This is really a special group, brother.
Fellas, breaking news. Literally out 5 seconds ago, the inactives for week 12. Curtis Samuel, Ingram, Mathis, Lunt, Kincaid, Keon Coleman. He is indeed out once again tonight. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Like we were saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What about you, brother? Drew?
Let's go. Ball out. We put on your pads. We know what to do. Get in the locker room. Hype your guys up. Be there. Don't leave. Just learn. To use it as a learning lesson, Keon. Come on. This is twice now. They're sending you a clear and pristinely clear message. You got to show up and you got to ball out. Simple as that.
I agree with you guys, but I do want to push to play devil's advocate. I do want to put, like, I understand that it's 5 days, right? You don't really get much practice in when you have a TNF game, but Curtis Samuel being out, like, there was a clear-cut opportunity for them to get key, even if it was like, hey, you're in a rotation now, like, you're not going to get all the snaps that you got prior to last week, but there was an opportunity to get this young guy back out there. Obviously, they like the speed of Elijah Moore, but to me, I said this to you guys in the text. I hope there's nothing behind the scenes that we don't know about. Like, I hope this is just it ain't broke, let's not fix it type of situation. That's my hope.
Yeah, I would say, you don't want to have Josh going out there and forcing the issue to Keon in the game.
No.
And then, it just adds more to why the Bills aren't looking as comfortable as they used to in the past. And what they put out there last week, why would you want to disrupt that? Not saying it's a disruption in a bad way, but again, like, if the guys are rolling, let them keep rolling. And that shows maturity in Keon. We'll see again. Is he going to be comfortable on the sideline? And people might take his maturity for immaturity because they don't really understand, what's going on within him and the coaching staff. We can all speculate again. We can speculate this guy, the writing's on the wall, he may be gone. But I for some reason, I don't see it that way. I feel like they got him and they understand that this offense isn't built around Keon. Because when he come back, and then he's still the 6th, 7th option, and he's getting 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown, and they're not praising him. They're saying he's still not worthy. You feel me? But you're seeing these same stats by all the other guys, Maybe the outside need to just understand this is the type of production that receivers on the Buffalo Bills will get unless your name is a Stephon Diggs or coming in here with a name like a A.J. Brown. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else, you come in here and you go fit this game plan and this scheme that we got. And that's okay. That's not bad, But I think we're probably expecting a bit much out of him.
Stevie, you also just hit me with a 6'7". Do you do that to annoy your kids?
Hey, I just heard about the 6'7". My daughter just told me about the 6'7".
My 2-year-old hit me with it the other day.
The parents, you guys got to start hitting your kids with it. So then they're like, I don't want to do this no more.
Man,
we do.
Yeah, that was just a natural reaction too. So that was rare.
I mean, I'm guessing, right? I don't have any kids, but I'm guessing kids still don't like it when their parents do the trendy things. Like,
no.
It's a good smile. It's a good laugh for them, though. You gotta stay in tune because if you don't, you gonna get left behind, man.
Quick.
I'm if I ever do have kids, I'm gonna embarrass the hell out of them. I don't care. Like, that's fun,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be that dad.
It's one of the best parts about being a parent.
Absolutely.
Our parents did it to us. We gotta keep it going.
Stevie, are you a dad joke guy?
Yeah, I am.
Drew, are you?
Oh yeah. Don't make me turn this car around.
We ain't gonna go there.
We do have 3 comments.
Let's
and
go.
then I have one last question for you guys. I know Stevie's got to get going. First up is Todd once again. Do you think whatever is going on with Keon and Samuel Hurt will grab who? That's the question, right? Actually, I'm going to throw one name out there. It is a bad habit of mine, but this player is still in his prime. This player has had a lot of success at the NFL level. This player is a former Texan. Very brief. Deontay Johnson, right? He has bounced around in recent years. Nothing to do with on the field stuff. It's all his antics and stuff off of it. Maybe the Bills don't want to. Maybe they're like, we already have enough stuff going on right now with Keon. We don't want to add anything onto that. But talent-wise, Deontay could come in and be the X right now. He's the only name. Like, I know Odell is a splashy name, but like the best is behind him, I think. But what do you guys think? Anyone that would catch your eye?
Man, that was a good one. If Odell can come, I didn't know that, So I would say if you can grab Odell for a half a season just to bring that attention, I think that would be great for the Bills to grab him. You said Deontay Johnson. He's another one. I wanted to work with him a couple of seasons ago when he was in Carolina. That's the Carolina receiver, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He got the wiggle. I like his skill set. He just needs some more. He probably needed some more guidance in a sense. He got thrown into the fire really fast and really early. But I think, especially on a rebuilding team, so it's tough to be a leader in those type of situations when you don't have leaders in the locker room like that. He was a product of that. And if he can get somewhere with a great room, I think he can definitely be one of those guys. But I don't see him coming in. Sucks that Mecole Hardman's on IR. He did his thing. We had some fun with him. Shout out to Mecole. All love. And I would say go after Odell Beckham.
Yeah. I Drew, anyone come to? I mean, there's other names, but no one, like, at this time of the year, you're getting kind of thin right now.
Well, it's thin, and again, kind of like what we were already talking about. Like, we're comfortable with who we have. Everyone already knows the system and the schemes. It wouldn't be hard to bring people up. I mean, we brought Latu back up again today. We'll see, if he gets any action or run. We have Jackson Hawes out there at tight end. We got dudes who can catch the ball. So I don't know. I don't have anyone. Plus, I mean, Samuels isn't out for the season, obviously.
Yeah.
Mecole, I don't know if how long he's going to be. It's minimum 4 games since he's on IR. And Kincaid is week to week. So, I mean, we have guys coming back. It's not like they're all gone for the season. So, I think our room is pretty full already. But, I mean, if we could bring a splash guy in like Odell, I don't hate it.
I love that.
The veteran leadership too, right? Like, it's a pretty young group.
Been there, done that
5-yard
guy,
hitches, bro, man. Yeah, he killed it there.
Super Bowl champion, like, who I think was on his way to an MVP in that game before he got hurt. And
he was killing them. Yeah.
They had no answer.
Finding the soft spot, finding the holes. That's exactly what we need. And the way
that's what we need.
So yeah.
I'm gonna take the layup here though. SJ13. That's
hey. Yo,
I mean, you got those gloves. Let's figure it
out.
I mean,
speaking of which, man, these things so icy, so sticky. Yeah, the best out here, man. Make sure y'all get y'all's at jhprogloves.com. Yeah, these are Phalanx.
You could use them to catch footballs, to drive. I see you out there driving with those gloves.
Yeah, well, actually, these are the sticky. These are our sports gloves right here. So it's got the stickums, and we have the fan hands, which I had to turn those back in because I want the material to be more plush for the fans, so their hands can be more warm. And once I get those back, then we'll release our fan hands. But these are the sticky material ones right here.
Oh, while we're talking about stuff, shout out to the Cigar Mafia because we were able to get that too sweet victory last week. Stevie, I hope you're bringing one with you to Oceanside tonight because hopefully you need it. But Cigar Mafia is not just cigars, right, Stevie? Like, merchandise, all of that.
Indeed, surprisingly, not just cigars. It's got a bunch of merchandise. It's a cool story, too, behind it. Shout out to my guys, Kevin, Dan. They out there in Houston right now representing. And you can get on at www.cigarmafia.com. And there's also 3 locations. Yep, shout out to the guys right there. 3 locations in Amherst, downtown Buffalo, and in Orchard Park. So stay on the lookout. And you can follow them online at cigar_mafia. We got all types of activations popping off, especially coming up in the playoff season. Hopefully, Guru and Buckets, we can get you guys. Yeah.
That's going to be, I mean, look, playoff victory is always great. You add in the sweet victory, like, you're having a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
We have 2 more comments before we say goodbye. The first says, Marks or Walker? I have both as starts this week, but Kenneth Walker gets the Titans. He had more work last week. Do you guys like him, or are you going Woody Marks against our Bills?
Man, that's a tough for me. I started off with Kenneth Walker. Maybe I need to go and try to find him, man. He wasn't producing for me now so it's like I don't want to go with him. I dropped him the other few weeks ago. And now Woody Marks, how can I pick him? He going against our Bills, so I have to go with Kenneth Walker. So yeah, that's my thing. What you got, Bucket?
Yeah, I think it's hard to go against our Bills right now. This is a great question, though. Both are in timeshare situations. Charbonnet and Chubb, are taking carries away from each one of those guys. But I think Ken Bone Walker, especially with Sam Darnold this week, they want to put up big numbers, and I think they have a really good matchup. So I'd go Ken Bone Walker too.
And I agree. I have both as starts, but I do like Walker. And then the last one is from Lewis, week 14. I mean, we're in week 12 right now, man. I would probably say Burrow, but I don't know what the matchups are offhand because that's 2 weeks away.
Man, yeah, I'm going to go with Goff, man. You still going to have some time for him to get.
That's Burrow against the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm going Goff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is.
I can't go Burrow. One, because of the injury, you got to get back in momentum. I think it's going to take at least 1 to 2. I don't think they're going to really throw him out there with the Wolves unless they've been preparing him well. But other than that, I'm going to say, Goff.
He might play this week.
Yeah, he's
way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, he needs to then. Just if
he's
you want to be
got
prepared
both
for the
practices in. So, and I think Flacco is hurt. I think he's going to run this week. It's a weird week too without Jamar Chase after that whole situation. So I think he stepped up and was like, I got to do this because our guy's out. So,
you know what? The Bengals came through for us years ago with Andy Dalton beating the Ravens in week 18. Maybe they come through for us again with Joe Burrow beating the Patriots this week, because that suddenly becomes a huge game. I know we got to say goodbye to the people. Shout out to everyone watching. We got 2,400 people live right now with us watching this pregame, calling in. Shout out to you guys at Bills Mafia. But before we go, I'm going to ask both of you guys the same question. Steve, when Stevie is on the postgame tonight, are we going to be smoking some sweet victory? What are your thoughts for the Bills? Final thoughts tonight?
Yeah,
for the Bills leaving the
I'm going 31. I'm going 34-13. 34-13. Buffalo Bills get the sweet victory. Shout out to the Banter community. Shout out to everybody in social that's giving their time. Continue to stay locked in, and we just go continue to evolve and keep elevating. 34-13 Bills.
Drew?
I'm not going to go as high. I'm going to go 28-14 Bills.
I like Stevie's score. I'm going to send the Bills score over 30. I'll say 31 to. I'll get the Texans 17. I think it comes late. I think the Bills have it in control, and the Texans get like another touchdown or something like that. But 4 touchdowns coming tonight for Josh Allen.
Yeah. I need that.
I did the math too. There, Guru.
If he throws 4 touchdowns tonight, you're going to see me calling him the MVP all day tomorrow. I'm just letting that be known right now.
Yeah.
He's already ahead of pace from last year.
I still need Jalen Hurts to win because I put a bet in on FanDuel Canada, and I picked Alex Pereira to win, and I picked who was the boxing match that just happened? Crawford and Makachev, and then I said Jalen Hurts for MVP. So I'm trying to hit big, man. I'm trying to hit big. I'm already undefeated right now. I just need one more.
That might come down in week 17, Josh versus Jalen. I will say, to your point, Drew, more pass yards per game, rush yards per game, yards per attempt, higher completion percentage, passer rating, more fourth quarter comebacks, and game-winning drives this season already than he had in his MVP season last year. He is putting up MVP numbers. He leads the NFL in total touchdowns. If the Bills come back and win this division, he's winning the MVP. I'm just saying it right now.
Week 17. Let's go. Let's go.
Stevie, as we say goodbye, anything you want to say and where rookies tonight, right? That's where they can find you?
Oceanside, El Camino Boulevard. Don't forget to handle business, have fun, and repeat. One love to the Banter community, yo. Go Bills for life.
Go Bills.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Bills Banter on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.